I'm gonna show to you, my fellow chessers, the chess game between Abhimanyu Mishra and Gukesh in FIDE Grand Swiss 2025, round number 5. Hello, my fellow chessers. We're back at it again with another video, my fellow chessers. So let's begin on e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. Italian game, my fellow chessers. Bishop c5. So this is Gyuko piano game, my fellow chessers. D3. So this is Gyuko piano game, Gyuko pianismo variation, my fellow chessers. All right. So this is chess analyze, my fellow chessers. All right. So knight f6, bishop g5. Wow. H6 attacking the bishop on g5, bishop h4, a6 preferring for bishop a7, something like that, my fellow chessers. All right. Castles king side, d6 preferring for bishop e6 or bishop g4, something like that, my fellow chessers. All right. So c3. Wow. Bishop a7, knight bd2, g5. Wow, my fellow chessers. All right. Bishop g3, knight h7. Wow. d4, h5 preferring for h4, trapping the bishop on g3, my fellow chessers. All right. Wow. D takes e5, my fellow chessers. D takes e5. Wow, mistake of Mishra, my fellow chessers. The best continuation on this position, my fellow chessers, is h4. H4, or queen b3. Wow, my fellow chessers, allowing the pawn on h4, my fellow chessers. But let's continue the real game, which is d takes e5, g4. Wow, mistake. Wow, wait, my fellow chessers. Why Gukesh didn't go here, my fellow chessers? Like for example, h4, my fellow chessers. We have, wow, knight takes h4, knight takes h4, g takes h4, and bishop takes queen h5, my fellow chessers. All right, threatening checkmate on f7, my fellow chessers. All right. Then the continuation of computer engine is queen e7, my fellow chessers, to defend this pawn. And like for example, bishop takes h4, we have queen f8. As you can see, the king of black is on the center, my fellow chessers, which is very dangerous, my fellow chessers. All right, in this playing game, my fellow chessers. All right, so that's why. Oh, okay. So, but let's continue the real game, which is g4, mistake, my fellow chessers. All right, the best continuation on this position, my fellow chessers, is h4, castles kingside, or rook g8, my fellow chessers, based on computer engine, my fellow chessers. All right, so let's continue the real game. G4. Wow, e takes d6, sacrificing the knight. Wow, g takes f3, and d takes c7, queen e7. As you can see, wow, one knight up of black, my fellow chessers, as you can see here. All right, but as you can see, at the same time, as you can see, the evaluation bar is white is winning, my fellow chessers. All right, so let's continue the game. Knight takes f3, bishop g4, h3, bishop e6. Wow, attacking the bishop on c4, my fellow chessers. All right, so bishop d6, attacking the queen on e7. Wow, queen d7, bishop takes e6, queen takes e6, e5, king to d7, knight d4, mistake of Mishra, my fellow chessers. The best continuation on this position, my fellow chessers, is a4, b4, or king h1, my fellow chessers. But let's see the real game, which is knight d4, attacking the queen on e6, at the same time attacking the knight on c6, my fellow chessers. Bishop takes d4, C takes d4, queen d5. Why? Because we have g5 attacking the knight and queen, my fellow contestants. That's why Gukesh queen d4, d5, g5. Queen takes h5, knight f6, attacking the queen, my fellow contestants. That's why you don't take this, my fellow contestants, right? Anyway, queen f5, queen e6, queen takes e6, f takes e6, f4, y. Like for example, it takes f6, my fellow contestants. We have king to d6, my fellow contestants. All right, that's why we should go here on f4. Knight g5, attacking the pawn on f4, my fellow contestants. Why? Why Gukesh didn't take, like for example, takes, and we have he takes f6, and we have king takes d6, and rook a d1. Like for example, king c5, rook f e1, preferring for rook e5, my fellow contestants. All right. And let's go back to the root game, which is knight d5, f5, my fellow chasers. E takes f5, rook takes f5, knight takes d4, attacking the rook on f5, my fellow chasers. All right, rook f7, king e6. All right, rook a f1, my fellow chasers. Rook g8, g4, knight b5, attacking the bishop on d6, my fellow chasers. Rook h7. Wow. Rook g6, mistake of Gukesh, my fellow catchers. The best continuation on this position is rook h8 or knight takes d6, my fellow catchers. All right. So let's continue the real game, which is rook g6, rook f7 or rook f7. The best continuation on this position is rook d1, my fellow catchers, or rook c1, my fellow catchers, or king h2. That is the best continuation on this position, my fellow catchers. All right, but let's continue the real game, which is rook f7, my fellow catchers. Blunder of Mishra. Rook c8, rook d7, rook h8. Wow. Rook g7. Why? Like for example, takes, my fellow catchers. We have king takes d7. Huh? King takes d7. What? Huh? What? Wait, my fellow catchers. Like for example, takes. King. Here, my fellow contesters. D7, my fellow contesters. All right, not D6, my fellow contesters. I'm sorry. All right, I apologize for that, my fellow contesters. Okay, that's why me should go here, my fellow contesters. Rook G7, Rook H3, A4, Knight D4, Bishop C5. As you can see, the evaluation bar here, the position is equal, my fellow contesters. All right, so Knight E2. Oh, that's the blunder, my fellow Kachasers. Alright, knight e2 of Gukesh, my fellow Kachasers. The best continuation on this position, my fellow Kachasers, is rook d3. Rook d3, rook d3, or what? Rook d3 or knight c6, my fellow Kachasers. That's the best continuation. Or rook g3. Rook G3, Rook G3. Anyway, let's continue the real game, which is Knight E1, Knight E2, Knight E2, King F1, my fellow chessers, Knight F4, Bishop D4, very good move. Rook F3, King E7, E1, E1, Knight D3, King D2, Knight E5. Knight E5, Bishop takes E5, King takes E5, Rook G8, rook g5, king e6, and rook takes g5, rook g3, rook b3, rook to d, or rook 7 d6, rook d7, king d7, or rook king d7, rook d7, king e6, rook 5 d6, king e5, rook to d3, rook takes b2, king c1, rook h2, g5, king f5, rook 3 d5, king e6, rook 5 d6, king e5, rook d2, rook h1, king b2, king f5, rook g7. Wow, my fellow chessers. Rook h8 or rook h8, rook f2 check, king e5, my fellow chessers. G6, rook h4, rook gf7, b5, a takes b5, a takes b5, G7, my fellow chessers. Rook B4, King C3, Rook C4 check, King B3. After King B3, my fellow chessers, Gukesh resigned the game, my fellow chessers. As you can see, Abhimanyu Mishra is the youngest grandmaster as of now. All right, my fellow chessers, as of now, my fellow chessers, as of now, my fellow chessers. All right, as of now, my fellow chessers. I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say, my fellow chessers. And that's all, my fellow chessers. Like, comment, and subscribe, my fellow chessers. And this position, black resign the game, my fellow chessers, because as you can see, the evaluation bar here, white is winning, my fellow chessers. All right, like, comment, and subscribe here and here, my fellow chessers. Like, comment, and subscribe, my fellow chessers. To God be all the glory. Praise Lord Jesus Christ.